Hello and welcome. This video is going to be my reseller recap for the month of June. This is my first full year being a full-time reseller, and this is my first year feeling the summer slowdown. So the month of June, not good, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I do these videos, one, to hold myself accountable, two, to let you guys know how I'm doing with my reselling business, and also to share with you like my numbers and stuff. And three, to give you guys my actual net numbers, one for accountability's sake, and two, also because not a whole lot of people share their actual, like, the money that they take home that they can spend on their bills here on the internet. And I have done this since the beginning, so I'm going to continue to do this because I think that it's interesting. I definitely try to watch these videos whenever I find them floating around the internet because, you know, voyeurism. As per usual, I'm going to throw you guys to the wall of accountability and other Bob, and I will see you when you get back. Welcome to the wall of accountability. So you guys can see that I did much better for the month of June as far as listing goes, except for this last week because this is the boy's birthday and this is my birthday. And so I kind of just took that week off and then like the first part of July too for birthday vacation type deal. But otherwise, I did really well, or I think I did really well. Compared to the previous months, this is good. Something that I should explain if you are new here is that the blue numbers are numbers of listings. This is an additional $100. So I sold 5 items. That's what the green is. Green is the number of items I sold. So I sold 5 items. And so the next day I have to list 5 items plus add an additional $100 of value to my store. So that means I actually listed a total of 10 items. And then there's a new number. You see there are some yellow numbers here. These are my whatnot numbers. So that's how many items I sold on that whatnot, which is why it's over here with the sold. I've been trying to move some of this giant vintage haul I got, and I figured I would just, you know, restart whatnot because it seems to be popular now. And there are more women on the app. So I was hoping because there are more women on the app, that mean that I would be able to actually sell women's vintage. And the answer is yes and no. I will get into that later. But in total, I actually sold, what is this? 39? I moved 39 pieces of this giant, massive vintage haul on whatnot, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So there's 39, replenished 69 items in my store, added $2,453.82 in value. I listed a total of 158 items and only sold 88. Now you might be thinking, but you did all this work. Well, summer slowdown, and then the items that I'm actually listing were the vintage items that didn't sell in my whatnot. So if you sell vintage, you know that vintage is most of the time long tail items. So that's how come I wasn't realizing the reward as soon as I was listing the item. Thank you, other Bob. So per usual, we are going to actually do my goals first, and then we will go into my net numbers. And my goals this year was, first goal was to go full-time reselling, and I did that January 31st, 2022, because I just could not take my 9-to-5 job anymore for my own mental health. I just had to go. It had to go. I also do not have a tail. My cat does. If you are new here, this is Miss Moxie. She's just hanging out down here. I am not a furry. Not that there's anything wrong with furries. It's just not my bag. I just wanted to let you know I have a fur baby, not furry. Cool. The next part was the wall accountability, which you guys just saw, and my amended goal is to always list the same number of items that I sold from the day before, regardless of what platform they sold on, onto eBay, and then to add $100 of value to my store. So that way, like, my store is constantly growing, and then I'm hopefully also getting rid of this death pile, which is actually also my third goal, which is the death to my death pile. That isn't getting any smaller. However, making myself list the items before I do a haul, I think is gonna help. And that is something that I've done. Also hit 10K in 90 days. No. In fact, June was so bad, has been so bad, that I slipped below 6K for 90 days. So I've talked to some of my other full-time reselling ladies to try to get some feedback and what they do for their business and what things have helped them for the summer slowdown, and they've been really helpful. So I've implemented those into July. So hopefully my July recap video will be much better than this one. And then my final goal was to get 5,000 subscribers here on my YouTube channel, my reselling YouTube channel. I do not have 5,000 subscribers. I ended June with 2,274 subscribers. I know in part of that was due to Matt Thrift of Life shouting me out because of the Anthro anthology, which I will get into when I give you guys my net numbers as well, because pretty much the generosity from publishing the Anthro anthology has been the only thing that has made it so I can stay afloat for June. But we'll get into that right now, because we're gonna do my net numbers. Miss Moxie, go on, go down. Okay, there we go. So what I normally like to do is to work on my lowest performing platform and work my way up. And for this month, that would be Whatnot. So you saw there that I sold 39 items on Whatnot in the month of June, and what I was doing was trying to get some of this giant vintage haul out of my house so that way I could at least get it on that big clothing rack and not have it in piles on the floor in my living room. That has happened. I now only have one pile on the floor in my living room, and everything else is on the rack that I showed you at the Wall of Accountability. And then the second part of that was to also just turn that whole haul into pure profit as quickly as possible, because I spent $106 on vintage. If you've sold vintage before, it is not normally a quick flip unless what you have is like the coolest thing ever, or it's super on trend, and or it's like a really already currently recognizable brand, but it's a vintage piece. So that would be like vintage, that would be like vintage Dior, vintage Pendleton, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to get my money back. So the reason why I have made net profit of $0 on Whatnot is because I have now officially paid for this vintage haul. So anything else from this vintage haul going forward is going to be 100% pure profit. So when I do accounting for anything that sells from that giant vintage haul, is now going to be pure profit. I'm not going to take any cost of goods out, because those costs of goods basically null and void for my Whatnot sales, which is what I wanted to do. So everything else now is profit. Awesome. So that's why that number is 0. The next performing platform is Etsy, and I made a net profit of $12.66 on Etsy. And part of the reason why I made only $12.66 in net profit on Etsy is because I did sell one other vintage piece from that giant vintage haul, and that is what made it so I recouped my $106. So I'm good now. Anything else, any of this vintage I sell now is just going to be profit, and I'm very happy and very grateful for that, and I'm very excited about it. So next month you'll be seeing hopefully more money on Whatnot that I'm making, and then hopefully more money on Etsy and all this other stuff, because it's all profit now. So my next performing platform would be Facebook Marketplace. I made a net profit on Facebook Marketplace of $23.96. So for the month of May, I was gung-ho about making sure I was cross-posting every day, like taking 5 things down on eBay and then cross-posting to Facebook Marketplace, Etsy, and Poshmark. And then in June, eBay decided to change how they were doing their views on eBay, and one, I think that did hurt me a little bit as far as like traffic, but 2, I also stopped cross-posting. I honestly stopped cross-posting for June, because like I wasn't able to do the same thing I was doing before. So what I was doing before was when something reached 100 views on eBay and hadn't sold within 30 days, I went ahead and delisted it, sold similar, and cross-posted it everywhere. but since they changed the way views are done, I kind of like just didn't do it. I am doing it now for July, and what I'm doing is that if it doesn't get any views in 30 days, because now they changed it from like a 90-day total of views to a 30-day total of views. So if it gets 0 views, obviously that listing sucks. So I need to redo it. So that's what I'm doing now. So now I'm cross-posting again, and now I'm getting sales on all the platforms again. But that's why I stopped cross-posting in June, is for that reason. And that hurt me, as well as like it being summer, and what I was listing was not fast flipping stuff. So the next performing platform would be Poshmark. I made a net profit on Poshmark of $55.86. It's a third of what it was last month, again, because of the fact that I wasn't cross-posting, and because I wasn't cross-posting every day, I wasn't sharing my closet every day. So it was a cacophony of poor decisions on me. I 100% attribute to summer slowdown to like 90% me. It's my fault. The other 10% is the buying, like people not wanting to buy stuff. But the 90 other percent, I could have done more to do better in my business for this month and to not feel the summer slowdown as much. But again, this is my first year, and I know better for next year, because I'm still going to be doing this next year. I'm going to do everything I can to make it so I'm still doing this next year. And then eBay, which is my main bay, I made a net profit of $670.05. So that's actually only $100 down from the month before. So eBay actually wasn't hurting that bad. It was just all the other platforms were, you know, a half to a third of what they were before. Those were made up with 2 other resources. Or 2 other income sources that I received. So the things that really saved me for the month of June were my additional income sources that have to do with this reselling channel and with you guys just being ridiculously generous. So the first other income source is going to be buy me a coffee. I had 4 people buy me coffees, which netted a total of $17.20 because buy me a coffee takes out a processing fee. And the people I have to thank is Donna Puffles, who I've thanked multiple times in these videos. She has just been a lovely supporter since she found me in my live with Tracy Parks, and it's been a blessing ever since. And then she's also discovered my IRL friend Donna and is messaging her there on her book channel. So Puffles, Donna, thank you. Also, my other friend Donna would like to thank you as well. She thinks you are an absolute delight. So I'm just going to give you all your praise now, because the support means a lot. It does, not just in the financial help, but it means a lot that you care enough to not just support me, but to support my friends too. So thank you. I would also like to thank Diane. She bought me 1 coffee as well. Jen, thank you. She bought me 1 coffee. And then Leah, thank you again, bought me a coffee. So when those come through, they're always a surprise, and it's always a really, really happy surprise. So thank you. The next income source is my Anthro anthology. I put it out with $0, okay? Like, I made the Anthro anthology because, one, I was super inspired by Matt, and then I know that a bunch of people were asking him to make one for women's wear, and I know that people were also asking Amber to make one similar for women's wear, since we're like all kind of in the same circle. And I was like, I can do that. I can totally do this. I like researching, I like crunching numbers. And then when I got Matt's blessing, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. And then like I have like a bunch of other, I have a bunch more that I want to put out and that I'm currently working on. But I put it out there because I wanted it to be just like Matt's, a free resource for people that are just trying to get into clothes. Anthropology has been a big pitfall for me because I hear it talked about on reselling YouTube a lot, like, oh, this is a brand from Anthropology, so I picked it up, and then I've had stuff sit. So that's where I decided to start. And I even put in my Anthro anthology on Gumroad, if you've never heard of me before, if you just randomly stumbled across my videos, or if a reseller that you know shared my anthology, just put $0 and then come back later and buy me a coffee, or that's fine. Use it as a free resource. And the amount of generosity that I have received from that resource has really blown me away. You know, I have over 400 people have downloaded that, which, to be honest, if you're a self-published author, like if I made a book, if you have 300 book sales, you're considered a success as either a self-published or an independently published author. So the fact that 400 people have decided to use my resource in like a month of it being out is crazy. And the fact that also I have made in the month of June $352.63 from y'all donating to me for this resource is crazy. Is absolutely crazy. So I'm blown away that y'all have been that generous. Like, I don't know how to say it. It's just I can't believe that's an obscene amount of money to me. And I know for some people that wouldn't be nothing. I mean, I know people that like sell courses and stuff here on YouTube, but I wanted to make it free. And if you found value in it, you could come back and buy me coffee later or donate or whatever you think it's worth. And for it to be that amount of money, it's crazy. So thank you for anyone who has contributed to that. I do hope it has been helpful for some of you out in sourcing, at least to get you more familiar with the brands that are available in Anthropologie, and then also the ones that might be worth picking up. I will be updating it a little bit differently than Matt does his, but I will be keeping it up to date. So all in total, I made a net profit of $1,132.36. So in order for me to pay all my bills for the month, and also for me to pay my taxes, my tax bill, because of how little money I've been making, was much smaller for this quarter. It was like $70 less this quarter than it was the previous quarter because of how little money it's been. I need to make $1,350 a month to just pay my fixed expenses. That doesn't cover food and gas and Moxie food. But I knew it was going to take a while for me to build up. I thought that summer was going to hurt. I just didn't realize how bad it was going to hurt. So I have talked to some of my other reselling friends. I do have some strategies to try to pick myself up by my bootstraps and to make my goals happen before the end of the year, and to make sure this reselling thing sticks, because despite how stressful this last month is financially has been, again, don't worry about it. Like I said, I have savings. I'm gonna be okay. It's just, I understand now that like I really do need to take this seriously. Like, this needs to be, I need to knuckle down. I need to set myself schedules. The fun time is over. I've been enjoying kind of a vacation from life and getting away with it, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to get away with it for much longer. So I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm still very pleased with myself. I'm still incredibly grateful, just so grateful for this platform and this channel and every kind comment and message I received here or on Instagram, and I just want to thank you. And I will see you guys in a couple days for another video. And until then, bye!